Hey guys, it's Charise here at the Foundry Salon with Foundry University, and today we're gonna learn how to cut a shag. So I'm gonna start off, I've already pre-sectioned by using two combs, placing one at the top of the highest part of the head and the widest part of the head. And where these two combs meet is where you're gonna find your parietal ridge. When we're cutting the shag, we're basically doing convex layers. What that's gonna be is cutting a box here in front of her face, which creates short to long pieces. That helps the hair kind of flow back. So I'm gonna start off with my top section. I'm gonna comb everything forward, which makes it easier to go in and take your first section. You wanna make sure that everything is parallel to the floor and you're pulling to the wall. Nice clean section, straight out of the head. And if it's too much hair, drop half of it and work in smaller sections. You're gonna continue doing this until you run out of hair. And this is gonna be your stationary guide. So everything is gonna come back to this first section, straight out of the head, parallel to the ground. After your second knuckle, you're gonna lose tension in the hair. So this might not be pulled at the same tension as everything in front of your second knuckle. That's why it's important to only grab what you can handle. You can always add to it. Making sure you have nice, even tension. You always want to make sure that you're sectioning to your finger. That keeps everything nice and clean. Those things can be slippery little suckers. And you're gonna just keep moving through until you run out of hair. So with your body positioning, you want to be square with your shoulders, elbows up. And another thing is you don't want to drop the hair, because as soon as you drop the hair, if you lift it back up, you have uneven tension through here. So we want to make sure all of this, comb, pull, cut, nice and clean, even tension. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the corner of this section, and this is gonna set up your guide for the sides. Okay, so now moving on to my side, same thing. Remember, we're cutting a box right here. So I'm gonna take this top piece, this top corner of my first section, and I'm gonna pull everything straight out. My elbow is up, and I'm cutting uphill using this top corner as my guide. And same thing, I'm just gonna keep working through until I have run out of hair. Coming back to my stationary guide. And remember, where your section is, your comb goes, lines up to your cut line. Not cutting past that second knuckle, because after that, you're gonna lose all your tension. So basically, what this is creating is a short to long convex layer. So you're gonna be curving back. And remember, only cut what you can hold. So if you've got to break it up into different sections, that is totally fine. And you want to pay attention to your finger angles too. You want to make sure that you're straight up and down, that you're not twerking it either way. That's going to throw off your line. Coming all the way through to the middle, nice and clean from the scalp. This hair is going to wrap around until there's nothing left to cut. Then what I've done to one side, I'm going to go ahead and do to the other. So same thing, I'm going to start by taking the top corner of my very first section, drop that out, that's going to be your guide. You know, I think in the last year or so, I think that this has really kind of become a popular thing again. I think that's why it's also important to pay attention to the history of hair cutting, because there's always some version that will come back around. And this is the perfect example between a shag or a wolf cut. It'll come back, just might have a different name, but it'll be the same thing. You also want to make sure that you have an even amount of moisture through to the hair. If it starts drying out, just add a little bit more moisture, and that'll keep an even tension through there. So on this side, my fingers will be up, and I'm going to be cutting downhill. That's going to keep my elevation and my body positioning all lined up the way it's supposed to be. I think it's important too to make sure that you're utilizing your mirror, because sometimes what you see here is going to be different than what you're seeing in your reflection. And that will help also make sure that you are holding it right where you're supposed to be. you're gonna pick where you want your first layer to start. And that's where everything will be. That will be the shortest piece of your haircut. That's the thing. I think a lot of the times people overthink things. Just remember, pull away from what you want to keep. That's the trick. I want to keep this longer, so I'm going to pull away from it, which is going to create the short to long effect. I think one of the keys to doing a good haircut is having the right body positioning so that your elevations and your pulls all match and do what you want them to do. That way, when we drop this, you've got this short hair that will help push back the long hair. It helps open up the face, creates the movement, gives it lots of volume and body. And then when we drop this, she should have an awesome long shag, the modern version. So when you are starting your first cut on your first section, how you're gonna determine what length you're gonna cut here is where you want this first layer to fall. That's gonna be the shortest piece for the whole haircut. So after some blow drying, this is the finished product of your long shag. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe, because we have more coming at you here at the Foundry University.